On September 3, 2020, just about 36% of Jamaicans turned up at the polls to elect the next government. But exercising their franchise looked a bit different this time around thanks to the coronavirus pandemic. But with COVID protocols in place, the election was held. Sanitization stations, temperature checks, and social distancing. Instead of the usual social gatherings to await election results, Jamaicans were forced inside, and those social gatherings took place online. But one group of Jamaican coders and software developers called Codewear, they had a solution. The group created an interactive map of Jamaica complete with its constituencies and party members vying for seats with live results. In February, PBCJ spoke to Codewear member Nicholas Kee to find out more.
Codewear is essentially a name that we more or less came up with. So code really embodies everything that we do. We produce a lot of products, software products and services made via code. And wear is just another word for house or hut. And when you put two of them together, it just makes sense. Yeah, it's a group of 7 of us. We all come from very technical backgrounds. Some of us have various particular skills. We have people focused on product, those focused on design, those focused on, front-end and back-end development, and those focused on the general vision of whatever products and services we come up with. We do a lot of internal projects. So it really more or less started out as a group of friends who wanted to build things and refine their skills and to keep up to date with a lot of the technologies and tools available. So when we started, we essentially just did a few open source projects together, and then when the election happened, that's when we really made the big bust.
The big bust he's talking about is Jamaica Decides, an interactive map of the island divided into constituencies, providing the name and party affiliation of persons vying for seats to form the next government. The site also reflected in real time the number of votes each candidate received.
Jamaica Decides, it was really a product that was stemmed from just our understanding of the lack of inefficiencies in our current society and the lack of engagement and apathy towards politics generally. And so it was bred out of us wanting to see what was going on minute by minute, hour by hour throughout the entire election.
Nicholas says research was the most difficult aspect of the project.
That was actually the most difficult part. Not many people are aware of this, but Jamaica, by all means and purpose, it doesn't really have a heavy data infrastructure set in place. Heavy data or digital infrastructure by any means. And so a lot of the research went into just trying to dig up more information about either the candidates, find their associated photographs, find out which constituency that they were affiliated with, and so forth.
Jamaica Decides was a trending topic on social media giant Twitter on election night. That took the group by surprise.
We were trying to manage the servers. We didn't necessarily anticipate the high influx of just people and users interacting with the site. Not at that scale, but we're more or less prepared. We were just extremely surprised at the end of the day.
Since then, Codewear created a bot that tallies the clinical summary of coronavirus data from the Health and Wellness Ministry.
I would say Jamaica Decides was probably the inflection point for us understanding what virality means within the context of product development. And so, leaving Jamaica Decides as a product, we moved on to something else that was of utmost importance as well, which was a COVID jam bot for Twitter, because we recognized that Before the minister and the Ministry of Health, by and large, they had been doing just updates generally every day, and then that essentially had been translated to just having people go directly to the website. But we recognized that the website was broken and the data was not entirely all that accessible. So what we decided to do was to create this bot that would essentially just automate all of the updates. So every time the website, at least from the back end of the ministry's website, would make an update, then the bot itself would get a ping and it would post automatically.
There must be a work from home arrangement in the public sector.
As the impact of the coronavirus pandemic in Jamaica worsened, the government implemented work-from-home measures for members of the public sector and urged the private sector to do the same where possible.
Permanent secretaries and the other executives of agencies and departments will be looking at their business processes. They will be determining what is mission critical and what can only be done in a physical sense, in presence at work. And those persons will be permitted to come to work. Everyone else must work from home from the 4th to the 22nd, or until we give other such directions.
Codewear security specialist Ajay Masters says the pandemic has also had an impact on the technology sector.
Definitely, I can say, even though during this time, COVID has brought so much despair among us, it has also put us in a position to kind of speed up our progress, in digitizing almost everything. Everyone is working well, not everyone, but most persons are working from home now. Without COVID, probably will be going into offices every day.
Despite challenges, Nicholas says Codewear is hopeful about the future of technology in Jamaica.
There's definitely space. We have unfortunately just bought into the idea of traditionalism, or I guess too much traditionalism, and that has unfortunately kind of stemmed from probably listening to our parents too much, and it's not necessarily their fault. They really couldn't predict the future. I guess the literacy levels weren't on par with the rest of the world, and so it was hard for them to really see a lot of foresight into what today might look like. And so we are essentially suffering the consequences of that. But right now we are uniquely positioned, Jamaica and even the Caribbean, uniquely positioned for us to grab hold of the digital space and to more or less be the centerpiece of the next big global digital ecosystem. We're still in a lot of planning and development for our next big thing. But aside from Jamaica Decides and the COVID Jam bot, the third project that we also embarked on was to create websites, just a web platform for two companies, one nonprofit and a for-profit, and we're still in the development cycle for them. And so post that, I guess just look out for the next big thing.